Hey guys. So today we're going to be adding and subtracting integers. In my last video, we were just adding, right? So we're just getting the feel for how we do that. But now we're have subtracting with it as well. And integers, again, they are numbers that they can be negative, they can be zero, they can be positive, but they can't be like fractions. They can't be decimals. They can't be like part of a number, right? They just have to be a whole number, but that includes zero and negatives. All right. So now some of the tools that we're going to be using. So these are like notes that we're going to need before we actually start the problem. Basically, two negatives are going to equal a positive, right? And there's going to be two ways you're going to see that written. You can have two negatives just with no parentheses right next to each other, and that's going to equal a positive. Or they might be separated with a parentheses. That's also going to equal a positive. What you won't turn into a positive is if they're separated by like a number, right? So if I see -3 -5, right? There's no two negatives right next to each other. They're always separated by something, right? They're separated by a number. In this scenario, they're just going to stay negative, and it's going to be -8. All right, so problem one. So we got 8 minus -9. This is one of the scenarios where we have two negatives right next to each other. The only thing separating them is like one little parentheses. So what we're going to do, oh, like that. What we're going to do is we're going to turn that into a positive. So we're going to just go ahead and rewrite the whole problem, right? We're just going to say 8 plus and then 9. And then 8 plus 9, that's just going to be 17, right? So that will be our answer there. Right. So once you rewrite it, now it's just kind of a simple addition problem. So now we've got -5 minus -6. Again, we have the same scenario. We've got two negatives that are right next to each other. They're not being separated by anything, right? They could be separated by parentheses, but that would be it. So for this one, we are replacing these two negatives with a positive. And we're going to go ahead and just rewrite this problem. We're going to say -5 and then plus 6. All right, so for this now, we can use that same technique that we did in the last video. Basically, we have 5 negatives and 6 positives. So what we can do is just represent 6 with positive numbers, right? We could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then with the negatives, we can say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now, for every positive and negative, they cancel out. And so the only thing we're left with is just one positive. So we're left. So 5 of the negatives cancel out with 5 of the positives. So our final answer is just 1. That's it. So now problem number 3. So looks like this negative is good. There's no other negative near it. This negative is also good. There's no negative near it. But here we go. Here we got a problem. All right, we've got two negatives next to each other. So we're going to go ahead and turn that into a positive. And now we're just going to rewrite the problem. All right, don't even do any math yet. Just -3 minus 2. And now plus 7. All right. So now we're just going to use the same technique we did the last time. We've got a -3. So I'm going to go ahead and write 3 negatives. And now we've got a -2, but a minus is really the same thing as a negative, right? You can treat it just like a negative. So that's an additional 2 negatives. So now we've got 5 negatives total. We've also got the positive number here, right? So that's our positive. So we're going to go ahead and write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Awesome. All right. So now we're just going to cancel them out. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we're just left with our answer, right? We just have 2 positives left, so our answer has to be positive 2, or just 2. Awesome. All right. So our last one here, we've got a couple of problems here. So this negative here, there's nothing in between it, right? There's no other negative next to it. That's what I meant to say. And then here we've got this negative next to this negative. The only thing separating it is the parentheses, but that's okay. That's one of our scenarios that we want to turn into a positive. So this will now be a positive. And then here too, we've got 2 negatives right next to each other, right? We can't have that. So we're just going to turn that into a positive. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and just rewrite this problem. We're going to say 9 minus 8 plus 2. We don't need the parentheses since there's no negative with it. You wouldn't need the parentheses no matter what, but they're there. And then we have that plus 3, right? That turned into a positive as well. Awesome. So now we're just going to do the same thing we did before. It looks like we've got quite a bit of positives on this one now. So we've got a positive there, and a positive there. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And now we're going to do the 2. So that's 2 more. 1, 2. And now we're going to do the 3. So now we've got 1, 2, and 3. So that should be 14 total negatives. And now we're going to look at our, 14 positives. That's what I meant to say. Now we're going to look at our negative number, right? That says minus 8. We can just treat that like a negative number. So that's going to be 8 negatives. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now we're going to go ahead and cancel them out. So all these cancel. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we're just left with, it looks like 6 positives, right? So our answer is going to end up being positive 6. All right. Well, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much. Go ahead and comment on the video, subscribe, like it, do all that good stuff. And I will see you guys next time. All right. Bye.